Hello there and welcome along. The Gardener Ben here with your next rose review, and the hybrid tea in front of me will need little introduction to many of you growing across the world. This absolute stunner is called Double Delight, and it certainly does delight the senses. This is an incredibly popular rose worldwide, and you can see why. A hybrid tea which produces these incredibly large and flamboyant blooms on upright and sturdy but quite thorny stems all the way from the beginning of June to the back end of September and into October. This is a high performing hybrid tea introduced in 1977. This particular rose was actually bred in America and is one of the few roses to have won the world most favorite rose award, a very, very coveted award indeed, a multi-award winning rose across the world. And you can see why. It really is very, very beautiful. I say no particular bloom on this flower is ever going to be the same. They're all going to be slightly different. They are very, very heavily haloed in this beautiful crimson pink around the outside, surrounding a beautiful bowl full of very, very beautiful cream, heavily scented petals. And as the flower completely opens, let's pick one so you can see it right in the very, very center. As the flower completely opens, you've got a beautiful collection of creamy golden yellow stamens right in the very, very center there. So if I roll the flower over, you'll see those beautiful crimson bold edges around the outside, the outer petals flushed with crimson red and dark pink, surrounding that beautiful selection of cream deeply ruffled petals in the center. The flowers are really, really quite large, as you would expect with a hybrid tea, each measuring in excess of 3.5 to coming on to 4 inches in diameter. The nice characteristic with this particular hybrid tea is it's holding its flowers bolt upright towards the sky, so you can actually see the flowers on the bush. The bush becoming quite large. Now, depending on where you're growing this particular plant, it's going to vary in size. Here in the UK, where our growing conditions are slightly shortened, we're going to be ranging around 1 to 1.2 meters. Now, if you're lucky enough to be growing this somewhere where it's slightly warmer and you get slightly longer periods of rain and a milder summer, you're going to be getting this one up to around 1.2 to maybe 1.5 meters tall. So it's going to become quite a substantial shrub, suitable for growing in the midsection or back of a border if it's going to get quite large, or here in the UK, suitable for growing in the midsection of a border or in a large patio container like I have it displayed here. This particular rose is popular for several different reasons. Not only is it very high performing with these very, very unusual haloed flowers, so that lovely crimson edge all the way around the back edge of the flowers, that lovely cream bowl in the center, but also because it is highly performing and very, very tough. This particular rose is suitable for growing in zones that reach around -20 to -25, so incredibly resilient when it comes to cold. So for instance, if you're joining me from anywhere in the New England states here over in America, or you're growing in Canada, this particular rose is going to grow very nicely for you. Unfortunately, it does suffer with a little bit of mould, black spots and mildew, so do make sure that you mulch this particular rose well. Make sure that you're paying attention to your pruning regime, opening up the center of the flower, the plant when you're pruning, and selecting outward facing buds. That will really help with airflow and ventilation in the center of this plant. And if you have a particularly mild or damp winter, allowing lots of airflow into the center of the plant will hopefully fend off a lot of the black spot, mould and mildew. It is a really, really very interesting and very pretty rose, which I'm very glad to have in my collection here at North Lodge. Fragrance wise, it's very clean and it's very floral. It has notes of citrus and clean linen and dish soap, which is really, very, very nice. So imagine standing at the sink and washing up with your fairy liquid and those soap suds that have that lovely lemon, fresh and clean fragrance. That's what Double Delight is reminding me of. This one is going to be rated with a high thorn count. There are thorns in all parts of the growth and actually on the stem. So if you're going to cut Double Delight and bring it into the house or show Double Delight, you're going to have to make sure that you actually debarb it and remove the actual thorns themselves, because they are numerous and present on all parts of the growth. Disease resistance, I'm going to be rating this one today with a 6 out of 10 for disease resistance, and ranking it with a very, very solid and sturdy 6 out of 10 for fragrance rating. Foliage wise, The foliage is a little on this strange side, I must admit. It's very matte. I don't know if the light levels are picking that up one today. Very flat. There's no sheen and there's no gloss to this foliage whatsoever, which is very unusual for a hybrid tea, especially one that was bred at this particular point in breeding history coming out of America. Most of the foliages are very high gloss and very shiny indeed, but Double Delight, very matte on its foliage, deeply serrated on the outer edges. There is a very small amount of barbing to the leaf axil, and that lovely burgundy red and pink fleck to the leaf axil itself, which obviously picks up on the beautiful crimson, pink and red bowl around the outside. I say no bloom on this flower is ever going to be the same. They're all going to be ever so slightly different, and the colour affected very heavily by the temperatures as well. It's been very hot here in the UK over the last few weeks, meaning the colour is ever so slightly faded. This one, if I turn this one over, you'll see a much stronger cerise pink and red along the back of that. So in cooler temperatures, you're going to see a much more distinctive halo around the flowers. But this is a really lovely one. This one is Double Delight.